Welcome back, guys. We're here for Jaws 2.0.
Hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through.
Hi guys, welcome back to Jaws. I'm Ashley and this is...
I'm Jason.
Nice to see you guys. Thank you for tuning in again this week. Last week we had talked about addiction in kids, and we had also mentioned that our church was doing a digital detox. So I think it's good for us to kind of touch base and see if we've been implementing it into our lives.
Yeah, no, I think it'd be good for you to bring it up. So, I mean, obviously technology can be a very consuming thing, and it can definitely take a hold and take over your life. I mean, for me, I've always understood that like technology, cell phones specifically, were created to help simplify our lives, not to take them over, but often a lot of us allow them to take our lives over and consume our life. And so in church, we've been exploring, and the pastor's been talking about a digital detox and just having us look at a relationship with our phone, and like just how much we're on it, bringing the awareness to it, and just how overtaking it is. And so it really brought this this clarity to us around like, hey, let's really take a deep look at this and see how much it's impacting our life. And so maybe you can share a little bit about your experience and what it's been like for you, and then I can chime in.
Yeah. So this is our actually third year doing this with the digital detox, and it's over a course of the month of March. And it's pretty amazing because I obviously do work on my phone between like social media and everything else, and it just makes me more aware of the fact that I don't want to be on my phone as much with the kids. It's one thing to like take videos and utilize that, but to actually like sit on social media and scroll through, it's so much meaningless time. And I want to be as effective as possible, especially throughout my days, because, you know, our days are so short when it comes to like spending time with the kids because we both work so much. So I think it's just really important. There's awareness that I've been much more aware of. I think one of the biggest things that I've been implementing, because of the fact that, you know, our pastor had talked about like taking these apps off of our phones and making our phones more of like a utility device instead of us having it as so much of a distraction. So one of the things that I did was I turned my phone to grayscale, which I think is really cool because it's amazing how just like the color can change the interaction that you have with your phone. It's not as exciting.
Much less appealing, for
yes, sure. Much less appealing. And you can toggle between on and off if you have cameras and photos. Another thing that has been really instrumental that I will say that I've been doing since we started, and it's been a week now, like 9 days, is I don't keep my phone next to the bed. I only have my phone by the front door, and I think that that's been really huge because I have this old school alarm clock, you can kind of see it in the back, that I've been using instead. And as annoying as it is to hear in the morning, I hit snooze this morning a few times, but it's amazing to see how much better of a sleep that I get without having my phone even be near me, because being pregnant, I wake up a lot in the middle of the night and it'll be a complete distraction. It's just one of those things that's a habit. You reach for it and then I'll just like open social media and then I'll scroll and then it's a whole deep dive. So for me, that's been really great, because then if I have to use the restroom or something, I go back to bed. I just go straight to bed. Like There's no phone. There's absolutely no distraction because it's nowhere near me. I also think there's something with the phone next to your bed. Like, I don't think it's healthy for you when you sleep. It's got to be something with like the brain waves or like the Wi-Fi. Like, I just think there's some weird like signal that comes out of your phone that like is not good for your brain, because they have a thing now on your phones that can read your eyes. Did you know that?
No.
It's really scary. So like, you don't have to do anything. Like, if it's actually like a one of the things on your phone you have to turn off. It's not automatically on, but it will say like check eye length wave. So it checks your eyes and where you scan on things. So like, it can do it for you. It knows where you look. It's freaking terrifying.
Wow.
So there's
crazy.
there's so much going on. But the biggest thing for me was like grayscale making sure that I do not look at social media in the morning until I get the kids off to school, because it can be so distracting and you don't even realize that you do it. But like opening the app for me is very distracting before I get the kids to school. It's also the biggest waste of time, because 1 second you look at one thing and you'll be wasting an hour looking at something, and I don't have any time to kill in the morning like at all. I'm on a very tight schedule. So that for me is great. And then at night, like really as soon as Jason gets home, because I normally have my phone around me until you get home. And once you get home, I plug it in and put it by the front door, check it again at night, and just edit some videos or whatever I need to do before bed, and then just plug it back in, and it's been great.
Overall, have you noticed like stress and anxiety like go down at all? I mean, what are the biggest, like, what have you noticed so far?
I think for sure I'm so much more intentional about utilizing it as more of a work platform instead of like a distraction platform. I also think I'm a very creative person, and I lose creativity by staring at other people's creativity. Like sometimes it empowers me, but just like being fed other people's stuff all the time, I think you lose like a sense of individuality when you're looking at other people's like things.
So that's really profound, actually. Never thought about that.
Well, and I read that your brain is like, even one of my clients told me this, and then I read about it, your brain is like the most creative in the morning. So if you're like just feeding your brain with other people's information and like junk, it's the time when you're actually the most creative and your brain's the most functioning. So like that's when you should be thinking about like goal setting and plans and all this kind of stuff. And if you're distracted by other things, it can be a really busy time for you to like feel really bad about yourself and start your day pretty negative if you're looking at things that are negative that are fed to you through the algorithm.
Yeah. No, I think that's really good. And I mean, for me, I mean, immediately after the first service, again, like you said, we've done this for 3 years. It was funny. I looked at my phone and I literally had like, I don't know, like 100 different apps or whatever on my phone.
Oh my gosh,
like,
yeah.
So I just went through, cleaned it up, totally got rid of all that, was able to like condense everything down to like a page and a half, like for swiping, as opposed to like 5 different pages, which was crazy. But I simply, again, I use this question for so much stuff, and I'm sure I've brought it up before in other episodes, but it's like, hey, is this adding or subtracting from my life? And my phone was definitely deterring and distracting and not adding value in those areas. And so simply for me is like Ashley had the grayscale and get mitigating apps and utilizing it more as a utility device. For me, it's the same thing. Is definitely dumbing it down. Even like taking emails and stuff off of my phone, like making it much more of a habit of being able to like go into the office and only have accessibility that way. I mean, this all ties into me even switching my phone number, because I'm wanting less and less distraction to be able to acquire more, more time with my kids, deeper relationship with God, and more peace in my life. And it's just, unless you really bring attention to it and awareness to it, like the phone creates so much distraction. And for me, I've really wanted to continue to work in that area and get rid of it in my life. And I'm not, by no means am I perfect at it, but I see when I'm like disengaged with the technology and I'm present, I'm much like happier. The stress goes down. It goes back to just even why I switched my phone. It was the constant distraction of having that thing, the overwhelm and the anxiety. And so I think it's funny, the timing of this is because I switched my number, and then like we brought up this digital detox. And so it's like the next layer and the next level of, for me, being able to like work on like the relationship with the phone. As silly as that seems, like I can't believe like we have to have discussions around how much these things are taking over our lives, but it's so true.
It's addicting.
And I think it's important just to kind of like table touch on this, because I think all of us, I mean, if you're watching this, obviously it's another form of technology, and it's not to be contradicting, because there's a lot of really good things that can come from technology and stuff like that. But it's, again, is it really over consuming you, and looking at a healthy relationship with it and setting boundaries with it. And so as we go through this process, we'll keep you guys updated on it. Because the other thing I was wanting to talk about today was burnout. We were actually going to postpone the digital detox episode to next week, but we wanted to at least touch on it. But it's important to share that. But I think today I really wanted to talk about burnout. I'm completely wiped. I'm exhausted, cranky, overwhelmed. And there's just been so much, and it's just life. I mean, I have a lot of quality problems. I mean, it's hard to complain when there's a lot of really good stuff going on in life, but it still doesn't mean that you can't burn the candle from both ends. And, you know, it just went from a very, very crazy work week last week into going out to Chicago to see a bunch of my old friends, and we did a reunion show, and it was incredible. Had a great time, but you know, flew out to Chicago, was there, came back within less than 24 hours, and then like trying to readjust with the kids,
Time change.
time change, all of that, and then come back. You know, I don't know if you guys can see anything in our room or not, but like if you can't see like this whole section, it's like literally like clothes galore. Like it's just closets are being redone, bathrooms are being done. Like so, going back to like one of our first episodes, Ashley with redoing stuff. Well, some of that stuff has come to fruition, and so
But we're happy about it. It's just we're living in a little bit of chaos right now until we are done with these final projects.
Yeah, so the upstairs rooms are redone. Again, it's all good stuff, but it's burnout, you know, and it's how we deal with it. And I think it's again bringing attention to it. And for me, is like I'm aware of the emotion of it. Like I'm irritable, I'm restless, discontent with situations. Like little things are setting me off, and it's important to talk about that because I know my triggers, and I know my, you know, just how I can get into like the character defects of the way I behave. And it's important to pause and really look at like, okay, hey, what's going on? And so for me today, even at work, because it's not like just I'm at burnout right this second, like today was just a long day, is I stopped first, and I prayed, just asking for guidance and direction, and just to alleviate just the frustration of what I was feeling and what I was going through. But I also like took the time to just like reflect and be like, okay, just make a list of the top 3 things that you need to focus on. And like, you know, you can have a running list after that. And it really helped me to just focus on the 3 things that I needed to get done. But again, is, you know, I want to get better at not being able to get into this place. And again, is I know there's no such thing as like being perfect with everything. And I need to give myself grace to that. But, you know, I think burnout is real. And I think also Ashley being pregnant, and, you know, we got the 2 other kids are on spring break. It's just, it's life, managing schedules and doing those things. But, you know, for me, it's going to be looking at this, communicating with Ashley, sharing about what it is that we have going on, and then identifying a solution and things we can do to be action oriented to mitigate some of this stuff. And so I think, again, for me, the clarity that I get is just, you know, I look at these situations as like, how do you eat an elephant? It's one bite at a time. And that's where we're at right now. Yummy. But that's where we're at just in our life. And so I'll be curious to get your take on it, just where you're at. I mean, I don't know if you're in burnout or not. And what are some of the tools that you have or you use, or if you're not even in burnout.
I'm not in burnout right now.
Must be nice.
I'm tired, but
You're always tired though.
But I'm like really pregnant, so I'm really tired. My body's just uncomfortable. I think work is getting much more challenging. It's not even burnout. It's just, it's hard enjoying your job when you're physically very uncomfortable right now. So there's just, I feel like a lot of pressure with work, a lot of pressure from my clients to like perform the way I normally do. And everyone's been very graceful with me, but I'm much slower than I used to be, clearly. I'm just moving at a glacial pace, and that's okay. And that's what I can do right now. I also think like the one thing that really has helped me is I continue, regardless of if I get up to work out, like I continue to get up and read my Bible every morning. And that for me, like keeps me sane. That's literally the only thing. On the weekends, I don't, which is not great. I mean, I sleep in on the weekends and we have stuff going on, but like literally Monday through Friday, every single solitary morning I wake up and I read my Bible.
No, it's incredible. It's something that I definitely envy. And I mean, I've gotten better at it's not the morning thing. I mean, throughout the day, I'll incorporate scripture and prayer throughout my day. But it was like funny. I was just thinking as you were talking about just like routine, because I try to be really adamant on, and I've been out of routine. Like, I mean, that's the other thing. I've been out of my routine. And so that throws me off as well, which I'm looking forward to getting back on track in the morning. But it doesn't mean that you can't shift and make those changes when you need to make them. Like today, during my Al-Anon meeting, I went on the treadmill and walked for 2.5-3 miles while I was on the Al-Anon meeting, because I wanted to incorporate something that I needed to do with something I wanted to do. And so I did both those things. And so it's taking those little steps, but I think it's like truly comes down to like bringing the attention to what's going on and not suppressing it. And that's what I used to do is I just keep pushing it down, and then all of a sudden it's like you keep packing gunpowder in, and all of a sudden a spark happens, it's gonna explode.
Yeah.
And so that's for me was an important thing to bring up and to share with you guys. I think it's when by expressing vulnerability, it creates humility, and us being able to talk about those things creates a sense of connectivity with others that are out there that are going through it, and you're not alone in this process. And every day is a new day. But for me, that's just something that I don't like to be in burnout. Just even coming home today, just the littlest things would set me off, and it's not a good place to be. There's just a lot going on. But again, as I'm happy that we're talking about it, and I think I'd be curious to hear in the comments below from you guys, just if you guys are dealing with burnout, some of the tools or tricks that you're utilizing and going through. But I think it's a good discussion, and it's something that's important, especially for us in recovery. It's so important to be able to identify when you're getting into these places, because this also, if I don't address these issues, things start to turn into resentments, and as we know, resentments can be one of the number one offenders for relapse. And again, just important to talk about.
I love it.
Yeah. So anyways, we'll follow up again next week just on the digital detox at a deeper level. And I also want to talk about relapse. So those are the two things we'll touch about next week. And we hope you guys have a wonderful day, evening, wherever it is you are. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Bye, guys. Have a good day.